thought he's done with it. With health, he's done with it. No, it's all going to come back and, really bite him. And that's what is happening.
The numbers here are not pretty. Time magazine did several polls, and just to share with you, what's scary about his numbers falling is that they seem to have fallen in just about every category with every type of voter. For example, do you approve of the way the president is handling his job? In July of 2009, 56% of people said yes.
Yeah.
Today, only 49% think so. And this is true among whites. That number dropped from 49 to 41. Seniors, it dropped from 49 to 45. Women, it dropped from 59 to 49, and this is the scary one, independents. It dropped from 48 to 44. So in other words, it was these independents that helped to really push President Obama's election over the top. They went after this new sort of ideology of fixing the country. But they haven't seen the progress they're looking for, and so consequently, many of them are saying, well, let me go back and give the Republicans another try. Maybe they can fix the situation.
But you know what? Actually, he excited a lot of young people to come in and vote. So young people got excited, they voted, but people don't realize the young people then don't come back in the interim elections and come and vote. So you got the same voter block that was prior. And those people, many of them like Republicans because of their management style. I'm looking forward to the final elections in November, but it's interesting that even if the Republicans win, which wing of the party has won? Is it Tea Party or is it just plain simple conservative?
So what do you think the president should do in this case? I mean, now that he's in this pickle, how does he get himself back out?
He has offered $200 billion in tax breaks. Of course, they are dependent on closing some loopholes on the business side of it. Now the businesses are saying, wait a second, you're going to give us $200 billion, but you're not telling us what loopholes you're going to close? So we are again in a limbo. This economy needs to go up, and I want to tell you, my personal recommendation to the president would be this. Not everybody can work on high technology. Not everybody can work on biotechnology. Not everybody can work on energy and solar and the other things. People need to make simple things. The socks, the underwears, the bed sheets, the towels, because there are people, entrepreneurship is alive whether you're a high school graduate or whether you're not a high school graduate. For the non-high school graduates, their entrepreneurship will be rewarded if they manufacture these things right here in America.
I think on that front, I agree with you. There are not enough incentives for domestic industries to take off. We have basically been outbid and outcompeted by the global economy. Yeah. And therefore, we're suffering. So how much of that trade and import that we sustain with the world today, does that need to change fundamentally? The structure for it, the rules that we've set up, maybe they need to be modified to protect domestic industry.
Simple things used to be made in America, but now everybody says, well, let's make it high-end. Simple things, let it go to the other country. And that has been the downfall because people don't want to serve in McDonald's. They don't want a job in McDonald's, even if they're high school failures. What they want to do, build something, because entrepreneurship is not only given to people who are high school graduates. There are people, there's so many of them that are not high school graduates, but the entrepreneurship lives among them. That's why a vendor feels so good. If all he has to do is give 5% of his sales to the city, just take your vending machine out there and do it.
Well, I think the Democrats need to help themselves by being less defensive. They're on their heels right now. They're not being nearly offensive enough to what's coming. So rather than be reactive, I think they need to take a proactive stance and go after these races with full gusto.
Yeah, but my final word on that is, in business, you need to know what's happening a few years down the road. And Obama administration has not been very clear as to what regulations are coming in so businesses can prepare themselves for it. But, hey, we here in Washington, D.C., we always make a living regardless whether it's Democrats or the Republicans that win.
Well, switching topics for a minute, there were two stories in the Washington Post that caught my eye because they have to do with how we're changing our habits. You know, parenting in the new millennium is not what it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and you had a different set of challenges that your kids faced in school. So the first article had to do with how parents are changing their ways of disciplining kids. You know, the kids haven't changed. You know, they'll still get bad grades, they'll skip school, they do the classic things. But the way you punish the children now is different. You know, it used to be that you would just ground the kid from going out or you know, not having a social life. But these days it's all about the high-tech gadgets they carry, right? The iPods and the Facebook accounts and the Twitter accounts. That's what parents have learned to do now in this new millennium. They take away those privileges, so no more Facebook. That's the new form of grounding. It has nothing to do with keeping kids at home anymore. It's about restricting their access to these digital devices, so they won't have access to their cell phones or their home computers. And it's actually working. But, you know, it only took 20 years for parents to make this kind of a change from what it used to be. But on the other hand, there is some good news. You know, when I was growing up, there wasn't that much focus on teaching us good spending habits. You know, we've talked about this on the show several times, about how important it is to get kids to understand the value of money and to understand their spending habits and how credit cards work. And it's finally starting to happen at home. Parents are starting to teach their kids what it takes to save money, because so many of them have become an example to their kids now through this tough economy about having too much debt.
That's very true.
So that's one positive outcome.
That's true, but you know, can I tell you something? Did you know that many of the school districts here in the Washington metro area have started charging $1 if you want to join any sports team? They're actually raising money, you know, because of the tough times, budget times. What they are doing is they are charging money now for certain activities in the school. $30 a year, $50 a year, and so on and so forth. And parents are okay with that, but it's now you have to pay